Hi guys, and today we'll be talking about what is going on in this offseason for the Phoenix Suns. So before we start today's video, guys, as always, I want to hear your opinions down below. What do you think the Phoenix Suns should do? Why should they do it? And how will they do it? So let me hear your offseason predictions for the Phoenix Suns, and let's get right into today's video and let's talk about it because I think it is definitely something interesting. So look, the Phoenix Suns defeated the New Orleans Pelicans 4-2 in the first round. Then in the second round, they lost Game 7 to the Dallas Mavericks to lose 4-3. And they have a few free agents. Specifically, they have unrestricted free agent JaVale McGee and Bismack Biyombo. Then two restricted free agents in Aaron Holiday, who is a savvy young point guard who is a great point of attack defender who shows to be a very capable three-point shooter and a guy who can initiate offense. And then DeAndre Ayton as their other restricted free agent. They don't have any key injuries unless you count, Dario Saric. And right now, their first round pick belongs to Oklahoma City, and their second round pick belongs to the Indiana Pacers. Their cap exceptions, they have the non-taxpayer mid-level exception of $10.2 million in the first year, and a biannual exception of approximately $4 million in the first year. Now, Monty Williams' explanation of Ayton's brief 17-minute stint in Game 7 against the Mavericks as its internal sets the stage for the Suns' contract negotiation with the 2018 first overall pick restricted free agent. The post-game comments can be blown away entirely out of proportion, but the fact remains that the Phoenix Suns didn't give the 23-year-old franchise cornerstone a max extension last fall. And Ayton isn't perfect by any means, His draft counterparts in Trae Young and Luka Doncic have already cashed in. It's legit to ask if he can keep himself on the court against ultra smalls in the postseason. He couldn't avoid foul trouble in the finals last year when he had to guard Giannis. And in Game 7 against Dallas, he was a nightmare, okay? And DeAndre Ayton's last defensive possession of the game is basically what seemed for the reason why Monty Williams made him come out of the game. And the thing is the Suns can't let DeAndre Ayton walk. Because, look, I made a video saying they shouldn't give DeAndre Ayton the max, but the more I think about it, if you have to offer him the max, you might have to keep him. Because DeAndre Ayton was 6th in the league in defensive rating per basketballreference.com at 105.2. He was 17th in the entire NBA for PER, which is a metric used to, evaluate the efficiency of a player. And the average is 15. He had 21.9. But some other advanced stats, houses like Basketball Index, don't love him as much. Ayton's ranked 90th among all players in their LeBron metric, which measures offensive and defensive impact per 100 possessions at 1.07. He was 18th among centers who logged at least 1,700 minutes this season, but they can't let him walk, right? Part of the answer, a smart man on another team noted on Monday, may depend on the results of Lottery Tuesday and the subsequent draft next month. With real talent among this year's group's bigs likely to go in the top 5, there may be fewer suitors for Ayton when free agency starts a week after the draft than otherwise could be. So my thought process is maybe DeAndre Ayton does stay, maybe for not the max, right? I don't even know. It's so hard because I've been thinking, what do you guys predict? I predict them to keep Ayton, and if they don't keep him, it's going to be for a sign-in trade because they won't let him walk for free. But I think if he does stay, it's going to be for a deal that works for both sides. Now, what do they need to fix? This is a 64-win team. Let's not act like there's huge problems. Yes, the Suns got crushed by the 3-ball, and these are Suns team that are insanely good at mid-range shooting, and that usually gets really good cuts and wide open jumpers and dunks. And they don't have to tear it down because Devin Booker and Mikal Bridges and Jay Crowder went Devin Booker went 3 of 14, while Mikal Bridges and Jay Crowder combined 5 of 20 in the same game. It was just a bad shooting night. And Monty Williams said, he may have ridden his team too hard this season, and maybe this team is only a 50-something win team. That's still, they're still a title contender. And I know Chris Paul kind of collapsed, and he's more of a 30-minute guy than a 35-minute guy. And Chris Paul can be, a John Stockton type late career player if he needs to. I think they need to find, personally, I think a guy like Ricky Rubio, because Cameron Payne was such a big part of the team's regular season rotation, but he was not nearly as much of the rotation in the playoffs. And the reason why I think they need a guy is Ricky Rubio. Yes, he's coming off an ACL tear, but the blazing speed was never part of Ricky Rubio's game. Ricky Rubio is a very capable defender and a guy who can lead an offense. And I think if they can bring in a guy like Ricky Rubio to help alleviate Chris Paul, so Chris Paul only needs to play like 25, 30 minutes a night so he isn't freaking gassed, and you can have a better defender than Chris Paul in the game in late game situations, Ricky Rubio would be way better than Cameron Payne in my situation. And when you look at this team, I don't think they need to tear it down. I think Jake Crowder's fine. I think DeAndre Ayton's fine. I think, Bismack, JaVale McGee, those are all guys you should bring back. Dario Saric, if he was there, he's great for small ball situations, okay? Keep Torrey Craig. Cam Johnson, I think the starting lineup next year, we could maybe talk about a lineup of Ayton, Cam Johnson, okay, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, and Chris Paul, and then you have a guy like Ricky Rubio come in who can help this team. I don't know if you guys agree with me. I think Ricky Rubio is the prize free agent for them to go after. He'll be cheap, okay? And you look at this team, I think Ricky would really help them. And then you have Jake Crowder back up Cam Johnson off the bench. Cam Johnson with his moving shooting, space the floor. And you could argue Torrey Craig would then be backing up Mikal Bridges. Chris Paul being backed up by Ricky Rubio. Ricky Rubio would be your sixth man. And then you have Landry Shamet backing up, our man, Devin Booker. And you could argue trade Cameron Payne for somebody. I really think when you look at this team, they can move some contracts to get some players. Specifically, look, they're expiring deals. Look, Elfrid Payton's out. And I think bring back Bismack, Biyombo, McGee to back up Ayton. Bring back Ayton, obviously. And Torrey Craig's still there. Keep, Aaron Holiday. I think he's fine. You move Cameron Payne for somebody to move up open up some contract space. Bring in Ricky Rubio. Run back the same team. Just have Crowder off the bench. Start Cam Johnson at power forward or start Mikal. And I think just incorporate more shooting. I just think a guy like Rubio would really help this team. And Dario Saric would help if healthy, small ball 5 situations. I think this is going to be a decent team. Am I wrong? Let me hear your thoughts.